God says, "My beloved child, be still for a moment. Take a deep breath. I know your heart feels tight right now, and your thoughts are racing faster than you can control. You did not come here by accident. You did not open this message by chance. I guided you here because what you are about to hear is heavy, shocking, and difficult to understand without my voice holding you steady. Do not panic. Do not jump to conclusions. Do not let fear speak louder than truth. Listen to me. Something happened that you were never supposed to hear about this way. News traveled quietly, through hidden channels, through sealed doors, through conversations that did not include your name. 3 men were taken into custody. 3 lives paused in a single moment. And among them, one carries a deep connection to your soul. Yes, my child. One of them is your soulmate. I know your chest feels tight reading this. I know your mind is already filling with images, assumptions, and worst-case thoughts. You are wondering how this could be possible. You are wondering if everything you felt was a lie. You are wondering if your heart made a mistake. But listen carefully. This is not what it looks like. And this is not the end of your story. I need you to remember something very important about me. I am not a god of chaos. I am not a god who builds love just to destroy it. I do not connect souls across time, distance, and pain only to mock them with tragedy. What is unfolding right now is part of a truth that was hidden to protect you, not deceive you. There are things you were not ready to know before. There are things your soulmate was not allowed to explain. And there are things that could only surface when the time was right, when the danger had passed a certain point, when silence could no longer hold. You have felt this shift already, haven't you? That sudden heaviness for no clear reason. The strange quiet from them. The feeling that something was wrong, but you could not name it. The nights when you felt them strongly in your heart, yet they were absent in your life. That was not imagination. That was not insecurity. That was your spirit sensing pressure closing in around someone you are divinely linked to. Your soulmate has been walking through something dark and complicated. Not because they chose darkness, but because they were pulled into a situation where silence was survival. Where speaking the truth too early would have destroyed more than it saved. Where one wrong word could have put innocent lives at risk, including yours. I need you to understand this clearly. This arrest does not define who they are. The world will rush to label. People will judge within seconds. Stories will be twisted, details exaggerated, intentions misunderstood. But I see the full picture. I see the nights they stayed awake, the fear they swallowed, the weight they carried alone. I see the moments they wanted to reach out to you but stopped themselves because loving you meant protecting you. You wondered why they pulled back. You wondered why timing never aligned. You wondered why everything felt intense but unfinished. Now you are beginning to see why. The connection between you was real. It is real. That is why it became dangerous. When 2 souls are meant to walk together, forces that thrive on control and secrecy do not like that light. They try to interfere. They try to confuse. They try to isolate. Your soulmate did not disappear because they stopped caring. They disappeared because they were trying to keep you out of a storm you did not deserve to be in. The FBI did not step in because of a simple mistake. They stepped in because something much bigger was unfolding behind closed doors. Layers upon layers of deception, power, and hidden agendas. And your soulmate was standing in the middle of it, not as the villain, but not free enough to walk away either. I know you are asking me now, why didn't you stop this? My child, some battles cannot be stopped, they must be exposed. Some chains cannot be gently removed, they must be broken. And some truths are so dangerous that they can only come out through events that shock everyone involved. This moment feels like loss, but it is actually the beginning of clarity. Right now, you may feel embarrassed for caring. You may feel afraid of what people would think if they knew who your heart is connected to. You may feel tempted to shut your heart down completely and say, I'm done believing. But do not harden your heart yet. You do not have the full story. And neither does the world. Your soulmate is not alone in this. I am with them. I have been with them every step of the way, even when they felt abandoned, even when they questioned their own worth, even when they thought losing you was the price they had to pay to keep you safe. They made choices that look wrong from the outside but were driven by fear, responsibility, and pressure you never saw. Choices made under threat do not carry the same meaning as choices made in freedom. And freedom is coming. This arrest is not the punishment you think it is. It is a pause. A separation from danger. A controlled moment where truth can finally begin to surface. Things that were buried are now being forced into the light. Things that were protected by silence are now being questioned. And yes, it hurts that this is how you are finding out. But I needed you to hear it from me first. I needed you to know that your heart was not foolish. Your intuition was not wrong. Your love was not misplaced. You sensed depth because there was depth. You sensed struggle because there was struggle. You sensed secrecy because silence was required. Do not shame yourself for feeling connected to someone in the middle of chaos. Some of the strongest souls are born into complicated paths. Some of the most genuine hearts are hidden behind walls built by survival. I know you are afraid of what comes next. You are wondering if this means goodbye forever. You are wondering if this connection was meant only to teach you pain. You are wondering if you should detach now to protect yourself. Not yet. There are conversations that have not happened. There are truths that have not been spoken. There are names, faces, and motives you do not know yet. And there is a reason your name has been kept far away from official records, reports, and documents. That was not an accident. That was protection. What they are being questioned for is not the full truth. What they are being held for is not the deepest reason they were involved. And what looks like guilt now will not look the same once everything is revealed. I am asking you to do one thing only right now: stay grounded. Do not let fear rewrite the past. Do not let shock erase the love you felt. Do not let the noise of the world overpower the quiet truth I am placing in your heart. This chapter is intense, yes. But it is temporary. What is coming next will explain everything. The distance, the silence, the confusion, and the pain. And when the truth begins to come out, many people will be stunned. Not just you. Everyone who rushed to judge without understanding will have to sit with their own words. Your soulmate is not finished. Your story is not finished. And this connection is not ending in darkness. This is only the moment before the truth breaks through. Stay with me. Trust me a little longer. Because what they were arrested for is not the real reason they were taken. The silence you feel now is heavy, I know. It presses on your chest when you least expect it. It follows you into quiet moments, into sleep, into thoughts you try to push away. This is the space where questions grow loud. This is where your mind starts filling the gaps with fear. But listen to me gently, my child. This silence is not empty. It is full of truth that has been waiting for the right moment to breathe. Your soulmate has been living a life you were never meant to fully see. Not because they wanted to deceive you, but because the truth they carried was dangerous when spoken too soon. Some lives are split in two by necessity, not by desire. One life is what the world sees. The other is what only God witnesses in the quiet hours when no one is watching. You knew them through the second life, the one shaped by feeling, connection, and soul recognition. You felt their softness, their hesitation, their depth. You sensed their care even when words were missing. But the first life, the one shaped by duty, fear, and pressure, stayed hidden behind locked doors. That is the life the FBI stepped into. Your soulmate did not wake up one day and choose secrecy. They were pulled into it slowly, almost invisibly. What began as responsibility turned into obligation. What felt temporary became a trap. They were told to stay quiet. They were warned not to ask questions. And every step they took deeper, the path back to honesty narrowed. You must understand this, not every secret is born from selfishness. Some secrets are born from survival. There were nights your soulmate wanted to run. Nights they wanted to leave everything behind and choose you, choose peace, choose truth. But they were bound by threats you never heard, by consequences that reached far beyond them. When a soul realizes that their silence protects others, especially the one they love, silence becomes a burden they carry alone. That is why they pulled away when things felt strongest between you. That is why timing always felt wrong. That is why their energy felt heavy even when love was present. They were living two realities at once, and it was tearing them apart. I watched them wrestle with guilt for not telling you everything. I watched them rehearse conversations that never happened. I watched them almost reach out, almost confess, and then stop, not because they didn't trust you, but because they didn't trust the world around them. Your name was a soft place for them. Your energy was a refuge. And that is exactly why they tried to keep you untouched by the storm. The FBI did not suddenly appear. This moment has been building for a long time. Quiet monitoring. Silent tracking. Pieces being placed carefully. And your soulmate felt it coming before it arrived. That fear you sensed. That tension. That was them realizing the walls were closing in. They knew the day would come when everything would stop. When explanations would be demanded. When the truth could no longer hide behind locked files and sealed conversations. And still, even then, their first thought was not themselves. It was you. They wondered how you would feel if you found out this way. They worried you would think your connection was a lie. They feared you would blame yourself for not seeing it sooner. But my child, love does not come with warning labels. Real connections don't announce their complications up front. You were not meant to see this clearly until now. The arrest is not the collapse of their life. It is the interruption of a lie that had grown too large. Being taken into custody does not always mean guilt. Sometimes it means protection. Sometimes it means removing someone from an environment where they were being used, manipulated, or controlled. There are truths that can only surface once someone is physically separated from the people who kept them silent. This is why I told you not to panic. Your soulmate is finally in a place where the truth can begin to breathe. They are finally somewhere their words cannot be intercepted. They are finally away from the pressure that kept them divided. And I am with them there. I am with them in the long hours of waiting. I am with them in the fear of being misunderstood. I am with them in the quiet moments where regret surfaces, not regret for loving you, but regret for not being able to protect you from confusion. They are thinking of you more than you know. Not with shame, but with longing. Not with fear, but with hope. They are replaying moments with you, small conversations, looks, silences that meant more than words. They are realizing how much strength you gave them without even knowing it. And in that realization, something inside them is breaking open. Truth cannot stay buried forever. You may hear whispers soon. Half stories. Opinions from people who know nothing about the soul of the person involved. Some will say things that hurt you. Some will question your judgment. Some will suggest you were fooled. Do not take their words into your spirit. People speak from what they see, not from what is real. They judge actions without understanding circumstances. They label without listening. I know the heart behind the actions. I know the fear behind the silence. I know the love behind the distance. Your soulmate was not living a double life to betray you. They were surviving inside a system that did not allow softness. And now that system is cracking. This process will not be instant. Truth unfolds layer by layer. But what is happening now is necessary for freedom, theirs and yours. Some bonds can only be healed once everything hidden is brought into the light. You may feel torn between holding on and letting go. That confusion is natural. I am not asking you to decide anything yet. I am asking you to stay open without abandoning yourself. You do not need to justify your feelings to anyone. You do not need to explain why this hurts. You do not need to erase what you felt just because the story became complicated. Love does not become invalid because it passed through chaos. There is more to this story than you have been told. There is more to your soulmate than this moment suggests. And there is more ahead than this pause allows you to see. Very soon, a truth about a woman connected to this situation will begin to surface, a truth that will shift how everything looks. Assumptions will fall apart. Roles will be questioned. And the narrative people believed will start to crack. When that happens, you will understand why silence was chosen. You will understand why distance was necessary. And you will understand why this connection survived despite everything. For now, stay anchored in me. Do not let fear define the meaning of this chapter. Do not let shock erase your intuition. Do not let confusion convince you that love was a mistake. Some souls meet not in peace, but in preparation. Some love stories pass through fire before they are understood. And what is coming next will reveal more than you expect. Be patient just a little longer. The truth is closer than it feels. You are beginning to feel it now, aren't you? That quiet shift inside you. That moment where confusion starts to loosen its grip, just a little. This is where truth steps closer. I want you to slow your breathing as you read this. Let your shoulders drop. What I am about to reveal is delicate, and it will change the way you see everything that has happened so far. There is a woman connected to this situation. Her presence has caused questions, pain, and misunderstanding. Her name has been whispered in ways that made your heart feel uneasy. But the story you imagined is not the truth. She was never what your mind feared. She was never a romantic rival in the way the world would assume. She was part of a structure, a role, an arrangement built on necessity, not love. What looked personal was professional. What appeared emotional was strategic. And what seemed intimate was actually controlled, monitored, and restricted. Your soulmate did not choose her. They were placed near her. This connection existed because of circumstances far beyond romance, circumstances tied to protection, investigation, and survival. There were agreements signed, roles assigned, and boundaries enforced that left no room for genuine emotional freedom. Yet from the outside, it looked like something else entirely. That misunderstanding is what hurt you the most. You questioned your worth. You wondered if you were naive. You asked yourself how you could feel so deeply connected to someone who seemed to be standing beside another. But my child, I tell you now with clarity and gentleness, your intuition was right. The love you felt was not imagined. The bond you sensed was not confusion. The pull you experienced was not coincidence. Your soulmate kept their emotional truth locked away because revealing it would have endangered everyone involved. Especially you. Especially the one place in their life that felt pure and untouched by control. They did not love her. They loved the idea of safety, and even that was an illusion. She, too, was trapped in a system that fed on silence and obedience. She played her part because she believed it was the only way to survive. And now, as the truth begins to surface, even her role is being questioned. This is why everything is unraveling. Lies do not always look like lies at first. Sometimes they look like stability. Sometimes they look like order. Sometimes they pretend to be protection. But lies cannot breathe forever. They suffocate the souls inside them until something breaks. That breaking has begun. You may hear stories soon that sound dramatic, twisted, or incomplete. You may see people pointing fingers, choosing sides, rewriting narratives to fit their comfort. Do not let their noise enter your spirit. What they are reacting to is shock, not truth. Behind closed doors, questions are being asked that were never allowed before. Documents are being opened. Conversations are happening that were forbidden. And in those spaces, your soulmate is finally speaking in ways they never could before. They are telling the truth, not to save their image, but to reclaim their life. And in that truth, your name is being protected. You wonder why you were never pulled into this chaos. Why your life wasn't disrupted sooner. Why no one contacted you, questioned you, or involved you. That was my hand. I kept you separate because your soul does not belong in interrogation rooms or legal documents. Your role in this story is not to defend or explain. Your role is to remain whole, grounded, and safe while truth does its work. Your soulmate insisted on this more than once. They made it clear that your name was off limits. That any attempt to involve you would end whatever cooperation they were offering. That boundary mattered, and it was respected. That is not the action of someone who never cared. That is the action of someone who loved quietly, responsibly, and painfully. I know part of you feels angry. You are allowed to feel that. You may think, why wasn't I trusted with the truth? That question is natural. But understand this, trust does not always mean disclosure. Sometimes trust means restraint. They trusted that you would feel the truth even without knowing the details. They trusted that your soul would recognize theirs without explanation. They trusted that one day, when the danger passed, you would finally understand. That day is moving closer. The woman you feared is now facing her own reckoning. Her role is being examined. Her words are being compared to records. And as this happens, the story the world believed is beginning to collapse. Not all tears are tears of guilt. Some are tears of release. Your soulmate is shedding a version of themselves they never wanted to be. They are letting go of a mask built from obligation. And as that mask falls, the person you recognized from the beginning is becoming visible again, even if you cannot see them yet. You may feel waves of emotion without clear reason. Sudden sadness. Unexpected peace. Moments of longing followed by calm. This is not random. It is the energetic chord between you responding to truth. Souls feel each other when lies dissolve. Do not rush to define what comes next. Do not force decisions before clarity fully arrives. You are not required to forgive yet. You are not required to forget anything. You are only asked to stay open enough to receive the full story. You will soon understand why I allowed this chapter to unfold this way. Had the truth come earlier, it would have been distorted. Had words been spoken sooner, they would have been twisted. Had actions been taken before now, they would have caused more harm than healing. Timing matters. This exposure is not meant to destroy your soulmate. It is meant to free them. And in that freedom, something long delayed will finally have space to breathe: honesty. Very soon, something will reach you that confirms what I am telling you. It may not come directly from them at first. It may come through a detail, a correction, or a sudden realization that makes everything click. When that moment arrives, you will feel it in your chest before your mind understands it. That is your spirit recognizing truth. Hold on to me. Do not let fear decide the meaning of this chapter. Do not let appearances overwrite intuition. What looked like betrayal was entanglement. What looked like deception was constraint. What looked like loss is becoming liberation. And the story is not finished yet. There is still a reason this connection was protected. There is still a reason your hearts recognized each other. There is still a reason I asked you to keep reading. You have carried this weight quietly, my child. Even when you smiled, even when you tried to move forward, something inside you stayed heavy. You did not fully understand why this story touched you so deeply, why it reached into places you rarely allow anyone to see. But now you are beginning to understand that this pain was not random. It was part of a process that could not be rushed. I want you to hear this clearly, without fear clouding your heart. I did not allow this to happen to punish you. I did not allow this to happen to break your faith. I allowed it because there were chains that could only be broken through exposure. Some truths hide behind comfort. Some lies survive because no one wants to disturb the surface. But I am a God who values freedom more than false peace. Your soulmate was bound by more than circumstances. They were carrying old debts of fear, loyalty, and obligation, some from this life, some carried over through patterns they never questioned. They learned early how to comply, how to survive, how to keep their head down and their heart guarded. And yet, when your soul crossed their path, something awakened that could not be put back to sleep. That awakening terrified them. Because love reveals where we are not free. You saw glimpses of their true self, their gentleness, their depth, their quiet longing for something real. But every time that truth surfaced, it collided with a life built on restraint and silence. The tension you felt between closeness and distance was the tension between who they were and who they were forced to be. This is why the pain intensified instead of easing. I know you asked me in your quiet moments, why does it have to be this hard? I heard you when you asked if love was meant to feel like struggle. And I want you to know, love itself was never the struggle. The struggle was what love exposed. This arrest is not about punishment. It is about separation. I separated your soulmate from a system that thrived on control. I removed them from voices that kept them obedient. I placed them in a space where they could no longer hide from themselves or from truth. Sometimes the only way to save a soul is to stop their life. That sounds frightening, but it is not cruelty. It is mercy. In this stillness, your soulmate is confronting parts of themselves they avoided for years. They are seeing how much of their life was shaped by fear rather than choice. They are recognizing how silence cost them connection, and how obedience cost them joy. And with that recognition comes grief. They are grieving the version of life they never lived. They are grieving the honesty they delayed. They are grieving the moments with you that could have been simpler. Do not confuse this grief with regret for loving you. Their regret is not about you, it is about waiting too long to be free. You, too, are being changed in this process. This season has stripped away illusions you once held about certainty, timing, and control. You are learning that not everything meaningful arrives clean and easy. You are learning that intuition does not always come with explanations. You are learning how to sit with uncertainty without abandoning yourself. That growth matters. Because I am not just preparing your soulmate for truth, I am preparing you for clarity. I had to make sure that when the truth arrives, you will be strong enough to receive it without losing yourself. Had this been revealed earlier, it would have overwhelmed you. You would have taken responsibility for things that were never yours to carry. You would have tried to rescue instead of witness. But now, you are grounded. You are beginning to understand where your responsibility ends and where another person's journey begins. You are learning to hold compassion without self-sacrifice. And that balance is sacred. Do you see why timing matters? Your soulmate needed to face consequences not because they were evil, but because consequences force honesty. Without this interruption, they would have remained trapped in half-truths, convincing themselves they could manage both worlds forever. That was not sustainable. I did not create them to live divided. And I did not connect you to someone meant to remain hidden. This chapter is closing old karmic loops, patterns of silence, self-betrayal, and fear that have followed both of you in different ways. What feels like loss is actually release. Release from secrecy. Release from confusion. Release from cycles that kept repeating. I know you still worry about what the future holds. You wonder if this will end in reunion or closure. You wonder if love can survive this much disruption. I am not asking you to predict the outcome. I am asking you to trust the process. Healing does not follow straight lines. Your soulmate is not being destroyed. They are being rebuilt, slowly, painfully, honestly. And whatever form they return in will be more aligned, more truthful, and more capable of real connection than before. That matters more than speed. Meanwhile, I am asking you to rest in your own life. To return your focus to your breath, your body, your days. You are not meant to wait in emotional suspension. You are meant to live, to grow, to remain open without putting your life on hold. Love that is meant to stay will find its way back without force. Very soon, you will notice a shift, not outside, but inside. The anxiety will soften. The constant questioning will quiet. In its place, there will be a steady knowing that whatever comes next, you will be okay. That peace is not indifference. It is alignment. When peace arrives before answers, it is a sign that healing has begun. There will be communication. There will be clarity. But it will come in a way that does not reopen wounds or pull you back into chaos. It will come when both of you are standing on steadier ground. Until then, remain gentle with yourself. Do not relive the story over and over searching for fault. Do not blame yourself for what you did not know. Do not close your heart out of fear of being hurt again. This chapter had to happen for truth to stand on its own. And the next chapter will feel different. It will feel quieter. Cleaner. more honest. And when it begins, you will recognize it not by intensity, but by peace. Stay close to me. You are not alone in this unfolding. Now the storm is beginning to pass, my child. Not all at once. Not loudly. But steadily, in the way true change always happens. You may not see dramatic signs yet, but you can feel the air shifting. The tightness in your chest is not as sharp as before. The questions that once kept you awake are losing their grip. This is not because you suddenly have all the answers, it is because your soul is no longer fighting the truth. This is the moment I was guiding you toward. Everything that has happened, the shock, the fear, the confusion, the silence, has carried you here, to a place where your heart is strong enough to hold clarity without breaking. You are no longer standing in the middle of chaos. You are standing at the edge of understanding. Your soulmate situation will not remain frozen the way it looks right now. Processes are moving. Doors are opening quietly. Decisions are being made by people who finally see beyond surface appearances. What was hidden behind fear is being separated from what was truly wrong. And as this happens, something important is also changing inside them. They are no longer trying to survive by silence. They are no longer willing to live divided. They are choosing truth, even when it costs them comfort. That choice matters. Whether paths reunite or release fully, truth is the foundation that makes any outcome healing instead of damaging. Without truth, love rots into regret. With truth, even endings can become peaceful, and new beginnings can be honest. I want you to hear this without attaching fear to it. You are not losing anything that was meant for you. What is meant to stay will stay, transformed, wiser, and cleaner than before. What is not meant to continue will leave without taking your peace with it. That is my promise to you. You may receive a message sooner than you expect. It may not be dramatic. It may not even be emotional at first. It could be simple, careful, restrained. But within it, you will feel sincerity instead of confusion. Responsibility instead of avoidance. Honesty instead of silence. Do not rush your response. You are allowed to take time. You are allowed to protect your heart. You are allowed to listen without surrendering yourself. Love does not demand immediate forgiveness. Healing does not require instant closeness. Trust is rebuilt step by step, not through pressure. Whatever form communication takes, it will bring clarity, not chaos. You will finally understand what was real, what was constrained, and what was never yours to carry. And if the path leads to closure rather than reunion, hear me clearly, that will not be failure. That will be completion. Some connections enter our lives to awaken us, not to stay forever. Others return only after both souls have learned how to stand freely on their own. Either way, you will not walk away diminished. You are stronger than you were before this began. More discerning. More grounded. More aware of your own worth. This experience has refined you, not broken you. I am asking you now to release the need to control the ending. Let the story finish unfolding naturally. Stop replaying conversations that never happened. Stop imagining scenarios that steal your present peace. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to the life unfolding in front of you. You were never meant to pause your existence for someone else's storm. As you move forward, you will notice something beautiful happening. The version of you that once accepted confusion as love is fading. In its place stands someone who recognizes clarity as respect and peace as proof. That growth will shape every relationship you touch from this point on. I am proud of how you stayed soft without becoming weak. I am proud of how you listened to your intuition even when it confused you. I am proud of how you kept your heart open without abandoning yourself. Not everyone can do that. Now, let me leave you with this truth to carry forward: nothing that was built on lies will survive. Nothing that was rooted in truth will be lost. And nothing meant for you will require you to betray yourself to keep it. Rest tonight with a lighter heart. Trust that what needed to be revealed has been revealed. Trust that what needs to be resolved will be resolved. Your story is not ending in fear. It is settling into wisdom. And from this place, whatever comes next, love, clarity, or peaceful release, will arrive without confusion. Stay open. Stay grounded. I am with you. Come closer now, my child. This is the last moment of this chapter, and I want you to receive it with a calm heart. You have walked through shock, confusion, fear, and silence. You did not run away. You did not harden your heart. You stayed present even when you did not understand why things were unfolding the way they did. That tells me something very important about you. You are ready. Ready to release what no longer needs to be carried. Ready to stop replaying pain for the sake of answers. Ready to step into peace without needing every detail explained. This is where I gently close the door behind you. Not with force. Not with loss. But with understanding. The situation surrounding your soulmate will continue to resolve in the physical world, but it no longer needs to control your inner world. What was hidden has already served its purpose by bringing truth to the surface. What was confusing has already taught you discernment. What was painful has already strengthened your spirit. You do not need to wait anymore. Waiting kept you alert during uncertainty, but now it would only keep you tied to a moment that has passed. I am not calling you to forget. I am calling you to move forward without weight. Your soulmate's journey is now fully in my hands. Whether your paths cross again or gently separate, it will happen without chaos, without mystery, and without emotional harm. Nothing unresolved will follow you into your future. That is my assurance. You are not meant to live in suspense. You are not meant to question your worth. You are not meant to love through fear. The love that belongs to you, whether with this soul or another, will come in clarity, not confusion. It will not hide behind silence or survive on hope alone. It will meet you openly, honestly, and without conditions that hurt your spirit. I am removing every residue of doubt from your heart now. You were never foolish for feeling deeply. You were never wrong for trusting your intuition. You were never weak for hoping something beautiful could come from something complicated. Those qualities are strengths, not mistakes. As this chapter ends, you may notice a quiet confidence settling into you. You may feel lighter without knowing why. You may find yourself less interested in revisiting the past and more drawn toward what is ahead. That is healing. Do not rush to label what this connection meant. Some experiences are not meant to be summarized, they are meant to be honored and released. Let it be what it was, a powerful turning point that awakened truth within you. From this moment forward, I bless you with clarity. Clarity in love. Clarity in communication. Clarity in recognizing what feels right and what does not. I bless you with peace that does not depend on another person's choices. I bless you with strength that does not require hardness. I bless you with discernment that protects your heart without closing it. What is leaving your life now is confusion. What is entering your life now is alignment. You will no longer be drawn to situations that make you doubt yourself. You will no longer feel pulled toward love that requires you to wait in the shadows. Your soul has learned too much to accept less than truth. And because you chose growth instead of bitterness, something better is being prepared for you. Not louder love. Not dramatic love. But steady, honest, safe love. This is not an ending filled with loss. This is an ending filled with wisdom. Carry that wisdom forward gently. Trust your intuition more than ever. And remember, I was with you in the confusion, and I am with you in the clarity. Go now with a peaceful heart. This chapter is complete. Be still once more, my child. This is the final blessing, the quiet seal placed upon everything you have lived through. You have reached the place where understanding no longer needs explanation. The questions that once demanded answers have softened into wisdom. The pain that once felt sharp has become memory, and memory is no longer your enemy. It is simply proof that you survived, learned, and grew. I want you to know this deeply: nothing about your journey was wasted. Every tear you cried carried information. Every doubt taught you discernment. Every moment of waiting strengthened your spirit in ways you could not see at the time. You did not lose time. You gained clarity. You are standing now at a threshold. Behind you is a chapter marked by intensity, secrecy, and emotional testing. Ahead of you is a chapter that will feel quieter, but far more powerful. Quiet does not mean empty. Quiet means stable. Quiet means safe. This is where your nervous system rests. This is where your heart stops bracing for impact. This is where your soul exhales. I am gently removing the emotional cords that no longer serve you. Not the lessons, those stay, but the weight. The urge to check, to wonder, to relive, to imagine alternate endings. Those impulses fade now, because they are no longer needed. You are not responsible for anyone else's awakening. You are not required to wait for someone to catch up to your growth. You are not meant to shrink your needs to make space for confusion. From this moment forward, you will notice how quickly your body reacts to dishonesty, emotional unavailability, or half-truths. Where once you tolerated, now you will pause. Where once you explained, now you will observe. Where once you chased clarity, now you will expect it naturally. That is maturity of the soul. You have learned the difference between intensity and intimacy, between potential and presence, between longing and love. And this knowledge will protect you. I want you to release any remaining guilt you carry for still caring, or for caring too much, or for caring longer than you think you should have. Love does not follow timelines. Hearts do not heal on command. You honored your feelings instead of denying them, and that honesty is what allowed healing to arrive fully. There is no shame in that. You may wonder sometimes what would have happened if circumstances had been different. Let that curiosity pass without attachment. Alternate timelines are not meant to be lived, they are meant to teach acceptance of the one you are in. The truth is this: if something requires you to betray your peace, it is not meant to stay. If something requires secrecy to survive, it is already dying. If something cannot meet you in truth, it cannot walk with you into the future. You are no longer available for confusion disguised as fate. And because of that, your future connections, romantic, emotional, and spiritual, will feel different. You will notice how quickly honesty finds you now. How easily conversations flow. How little guessing is required when someone is aligned with you. That ease is not boring. It is sacred. I am guiding you toward relationships that do not require decoding. Toward people who say what they mean and mean what they say. Toward love that does not trigger your anxiety, but calms it. This is not because you lowered your standards. It is because you raised your self-respect. As you step forward, keep your heart open but your boundaries clear. Openness invites connection. Boundaries preserve peace. You do not need to choose one over the other. Balanced souls carry both. There will come a day when you look back at this chapter without pain. You will see it as the turning point where you stopped settling for uncertainty and started choosing yourself. You will recognize that everything that fell apart did so to make room for something truer. And when love returns, in whatever form it does, it will not ask you to prove your worth. It will recognize it immediately. Until that day, live fully. Laugh without overthinking. Rest without guilt. Dream without fear of disappointment. You are allowed to enjoy your life now. I am blessing your days with emotional safety. I am blessing your nights with peaceful sleep. I am blessing your heart with the ability to trust again, wisely, gently, and without losing yourself. What you went through refined you. What you learned empowered you. What you release now frees you. Let this be the moment you stop looking back for answers and start looking forward with confidence. The past has taught you everything it needed to teach. The future no longer requires you to be guarded, only grounded. Walk forward knowing this: you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be. This chapter is complete. Your heart is safe. Your path is clear. And I am with you, always.